Hello everyone, and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically.
What am I doing?
I have one GPU server. Long story, I ruined the operating system and some other things. So basically what I'm going to do, I have to do reinstall. So I'm going to install from scratch an operating system, and then all the tools and things that I want to install, that will be basically in-house ChatGPT or whatever you want to call it, LLM, right? I want to set everything up in my home network, and that's what I've been using for a couple months, I would say 6 months or so. I want you to see every single step. And in terms of the hardware and the server that I have, I'm sure you guys want to see it, right? Do you want to see it?
Yes.
You want to see it?
Yes!
All right, come with me. Let's go. All right, here we are. This is my full-size rack. There is not really any audible noise because of this acoustic rack when I actually open the door. The audio, right? So that's my rack and all the stuff that I have. But what I want to show you is actually this bad boy, which is my GPU server. So if I take this out, and don't worry, I removed the cover just before recording the video. There is the cover. It's not gonna stay like this. Every single RAM slot has been populated, and I have a bunch of V100, 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 another one, and another one. And also I have an RTX 8000. It's a little bit mixed up. Anyway, I have these GPUs, and this is a Xeon based machine. We are gonna see all the hardware and specs and everything. I just wanted to show you the physical server. I'm gonna put this back and also put the cover on. And it also, as you can see, it runs with the UPS and all that stuff. So I'm going to now stop recording, put everything back, and go back to bench. All right, let's go back to the bench. So here is my GPU server IPMI. It's currently off. I just come here, go to CD-ROM image. I already saved this, sharing U24, some username, some password. I just created a Windows share, and where I placed the Ubuntu 24 ISO image in there. I'm gonna click on mount. There is an ISO file mounted. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the main page, and now I am going to power it on. And as it is powering on, I am going to also launch the KVM console. There you go, it's booting. I will go into BIOS in here, initiate and install the Ubuntu. And I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone, the fans are ramping up. It's very, very loud, even with that noise canceling rack. All right, as you can see, I just have 786 gigabytes of RAM. That's 1600 memory speed, which I have to fix. So it's Super Micro X10 DRG. And if I go to CPU, you'll see that I am running Xeon 2699A, two of those. All right, so lots of cores, lots of RAM, and lots of GPU. The main point is you can now come here. You see, that's my old Ubuntu. I don't want that. So what I am going to do is use the UEFI USB virtual disk. So we're gonna boot from that, and it's gonna go into the installer and start installing the Ubuntu. By the way, instead of changing that, I could have probably just come here, boot override just for one time. So yeah, you come here, UEFI virtual CD-ROM. So you just go with that, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a fresh Ubuntu install. All right, so Ubuntu got installed perfectly with no problems. So I am going to SSH into the box that we just installed Ubuntu on, and this is the device. And I always prefer to just go to the root. So if I do an NVIDIA SMI, there you go. So I have the V116, V132, another 16, another 16, another 16, and RTX 6000 and RTX 8000. So that being said, let me also have another window open, and I want to run NVTop on this. So here you can see the usage on the graphics cards and GPUs. One of the things that I usually very quickly do, I know it's useless, it's not for what we are going to do. I just want to make sure that these devices are up and running. Okay, there you go, 100%, 100%, 100%. I just run a benchmark with Hashcat, which is, there you go. So that's all I just wanted to see very quickly. These are the devices. These are the devices, and this is what I'm getting. 371 gigahash per second. Just wanted to test very quickly that CUDA and devices and all that stuff are working. Okay, so that being said, what I want to do is basically install Llama, right? We go from here, go to Linux, copy this, move back to shell, run that. So we installed Ollama. Now it's time to test it with install bunch of models. And before I do that, I want to show you that if I do fdisk, so I have a bunch of disks installed in there, inserted into the server, and I just chose this one, 870 SDF. So what I want to do is actually, I just mounted it manually. I just mounted the SDF onto fast disk. Okay, so if we go to the fast disk, that's the empty 4 terabyte storage where I will be putting most, if not all, my models in there, not in the main operating system, not in the default path. Okay, so I have to set that. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is fast disk, make directory models, and what I want to do is I want to say llama models equals mnt fast disk and models. So I'm setting the folder to be that models folder. So every time I run a command like llama run this and that, where it is downloading models, it will write those models into that folder. Okay, another thing that you have to do, make sure that folder is completely owned and accessible to Ollama user. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to say chown Ollama to the models folder. Okay, so the models folder is now accessible to the Llama user. I also want to do 755 on the models folder. So let's do llama run llama 3.3. Let's go with this model. So that is my internet 80, but as you can see, it's gonna take a while, 8 minutes or so. And what I'm gonna do is I will just pull a bunch of llama models that I use, and then we take it from there. Okay, so that being said, I just suddenly remembered, I think I fixed the RAM issue, but I want to decode. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we are running at 24 megahertz. Yes, okay. So yeah, I fixed the DMI, the RAM speed, that should be fine. And also I want to run the fast fetch. Okay, so here you can see that it is 2 Xeon E5, so 44 core, 88 threads. And then there is also all these devices, 760 something gigabytes of RAM, and the RAM is running at 2400 speed. And this is Extend DRG Super Micro. I'm running Ubuntu Noble 2404. Everything pretty straightforward. To be very honest with you, I skipped one part. I should have included it, I know, but what I did was I basically installed CUDA and I installed the NVIDIA drivers. On that note, let me show you the commands I ran. Okay, so here are the commands that I ran. I basically just did a wget on this, installed that package, apt update, install CUDA toolkit 12-6. I did NVIDIA SMI to see it. It didn't work because CUDA didn't install the CUDA toolkit. Sorry, didn't install the NVIDIA driver. So I separately also installed apt install NVIDIA driver 565. So that's really pretty much it. And then after this, I just installed the NVTop. That's also from GitHub. So you just come here and you will receive an app image file from the releases right here. Okay, that's what I did. I just installed NVTop and Ollama, you just saw it. All right, I covered pretty much every single step so far what I did. The other thing was just the mounting that folder. It doesn't matter, it's simple. So everything is set. We just have to wait. Let me download all the models and then we continue from there. I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. Let me show you what I did. If I do llama list, these are a bunch of models that I use and I like and I enjoy. So I downloaded them. Now I want to show you how you can load and also check the timing that it takes to load the model and to get the response for the prompt. You just basically do llama run, and let's start with a relatively simple one. If we do verbose, we are going to get the details for timing, and I want to run the NVTop on the screen. So as you can see, for now a single process is there that's using the CUDA, and it is barely using one of my GPUs, which is the A6000. Let's see if situation changes if it starts using some others, but oh, it's already loaded, sorry. So what can we ask? So let's see.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Right, important questions. I'm not going to specify if it's African or European. So let's see what it does. And you can see the speed, right? So it is fast. So you can say probably 6 tokens, 7 tokens a second. Okay, there you go. So total duration was 17 seconds and load time was 57. So not bad. 22 tokens. So 80 tokens per second. That's the rate apparently. So overall, it's fast and loaded fast, and it's barely using one of my GPUs. It's a relatively simple model. And you can push the limits. So I can can run a little bit more complex question, maybe math question. School has 90 children during the day. Each child attends 4 classes. Each class has 15 children and 1 teacher during the day. Each teacher teaches 3 classes. What's the smallest number of teachers the school can have? So just a little bit logic. I use this mainly for one of the uses that I have for the LLM is actually this. Kids use it to generate questions, like training exercise questions and then checking the answer with the LLM. So that's one of the things that you can do. I can push the limit a little bit further and I can try a math Olympiad question from International Math Competition 2005. So this is the question. It's basically saying, there are 6 problems. Every 2 of these problems were solved by more than 2/5 of the contestants, and moreover, no contestant solved all the 6 problems. So it says show and prove that there are at least 2 contestants who solved exactly 5 problems each. So it immediately started to jump and solve it. Wow, that's very detailed, and it is solving it correctly. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that these models, even though that's like 42 gigabytes, you can see in my system, barely using a single GPU, nothing on other GPUs that I have. If I had only a 6000, I would have had the same result. And I am getting 648 tokens, and it's 3000 tokens per second, something like that. Okay, so it's very fast. So I think this is a good example. Let me try another bigger model list. So we tried this one. Let's go with 132 gigabyte DeepSeek one. Okay, I'm gonna run this verbose again. This one might use more GPU, I think. Okay. Now it started loading the models. Every single GPU is now being used. So that's the difference. Okay, there you go. It loaded. Okay, every single GPU is being used. Okay, now, I don't know. Let's ask the same question. Let's see if it knows the joke. Yeah, of course it knows. And you can see the speed. Wow, it's flying. It explained shorter, which I appreciate. That's fine. And it's 132 gigabyte model and using all my GPUs. So another thing that I want to try is actually what I know from, I'm no LLM expert, from my internet research. It seems like DeepSeek is very, very good in writing code and understanding code. So, you can always ask like hard questions that you want to see if it is filtered or unfiltered. Like for instance, in terms of malware and security, you can ask things from LLM to write the code could be abused. So usually ChatGPT, for instance, doesn't help you with those things, and it tells you might be up to no good and won't give you those codes unless you get around it. But here I just want to try something very simple. Write a small C++ function that uses set Windows hook X. Actually, intentionally, I want to leave a typo. It's actually Windows hook X, but I'm gonna leave it like that, API, to capture all keystrokes in Windows OS. Which actually I didn't have to specify, but let's do it. First of all, you understood that I meant set Windows hook X, and it's using the global hook for WH keyboard LL. That is correct. It just started spitting out a whole keylogger to me, and it even explains it. Overall, I think you can literally just copy paste this. It should work. I don't see any trouble, any issues with it. It's printing in the console, so you can improve it and other stuff. But yeah, it wrote the code, and as you can see, the tokens is 334 tokens per second. So it's very fast. That's all I just wanted to say. The others are same. So another model that I have, like for instance, the Kalman Ripley, these are very good in math and solving math problems and suggesting good math questions for, kids to solve. So you can go to this webpage, Open LLM Leaderboard, and you have different topics that you can see which LLM is the best for that. In this one, you can come over here and it will tell you that this tests the model's ability to follow explicitly formatting instructions. So you keep giving instructions, do this formatting, do that formatting. High school level competition mathematical problems, can it solve it? The 2 models that I tried both solved it properly. And this one is for ability to answer questions in a very specific topic like chemistry, biology, physics, and all that stuff. So you can sort it that way and see which one does best. And apparently Mistral does good best, at least among other open LLM models. So you can do this, choose your model and download it. So that's the way you can find the good ones. So that being said, now obviously anyone who has family in the house, we're not going to use this SSH and interface for this. So what we do is the web interface. So what I'm going to set up next is actually Open LLM Web. Okay, so this is the one. You can just follow the instructions over here, nothing special at all. So literally you see me copy pasting. Okay. Okay, so I created a virtual environment with specifying the Python version to be 3.11. So just that it works. As you can see here, it needs the Python 3.11. That's the max it can go. Yeah, so now we have the Python that works with this. Do we have pip? Yes. Much better. That's what was needed. Basically, you have to have a Python 3.11. And seems like it's going on. So let's go into fast forward. Okay, the only thing that was missing was this, setup tools. So it's not included in the instructions, but no big deal. You just have to install setup tools and then the pip install open WebUI. And that is installed now. Let's try open WebUI serve. Okay, so it started at 8080. Let's test this. Okay, open WebUI, get started, test. So this is admin account, okay. So you are in. Basically, the interface is going to look a lot like the ChatGPT. That's pretty much it. So these are the models that I have already installed. Obviously, we tested some of them. Let's go with the DeepSeek, and I want to have this open as well. And the first time, again, when you're running something, and the first time it's just now going to start loading the model, so it's going to take a while. But let me ask math question. Let's send that, and now you have to wait for the model to be loaded to the memory for the first time. So we don't have any process yet. Okay, I'm seeing the process. Okay, GPU is being used and leveraged, so almost all of them. Yep. The first time you have to wait. It's just loading the model into the GPUs and initializing the model and all that stuff. Once it's done, now you're good to go. All right, so you see the speed. You tell me if this is any different than a ChatGPT. I really don't think so. And this is completely offline, completely hosted in my environment. And you can see, because I'm using the WebUI, the latex is getting, parsed, and you'll see the actual representation of the equations and all that stuff. So it's much cleaner, much nicer. This is how you can look at it and enjoy. So if you ask for a code, right, the same question, right, recursive. You see the speed, you see the code, you see the structure. So you tell me this is any different from ChatGPT. I really don't think so. So you have a very fast language model running in your environment, completely offline. I can now cut out the internet from the server and it will just work fine. I will download, cache the models, update all the software. Then I can just change the internet settings, no internet access, and just use it as is. You can have all sorts of models that you want in your environment, and you can generate and train and create your own models as well in such a system. Yeah, I believe I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to. This is what I wanted to set this up. I actually had exact same thing running. I ruined the operating system somehow, so I had to clean and delete and everything afresh, and just we are back to where we were. So this is how it is done, and I believe I showed you guys the usage, installation, everything. So right before I go, I actually came across something very, very interesting, because some of you might say, well, there is ChatGPT, so why you want to host your own? I know you're not going to say it like that, but I just want to give you one super simple example. And I just wanted to try with the ChatGPT and Gemini, and also my own server that I'm running here, which is running DeepSeek, right? So here, as you can see on the screen, I will come back DeepSeek at last. So as you can see, I have a Gemini Pro Advanced full access, whatever the hell. And then I said, okay, write an MBR bootloader code in assembly that I can compile and write it to the boot sector, should display hello world message in console. It just gave me this bullshit. As a language model, I'm not able to assist you with that. So I said, may I know why? Again, I'm not able to assist you with that. I thought something is wrong. I just said, what's your name? And something is off. I don't have a name, but you can call me an assistant, whatever. Okay. So I rewrote my same question, but simplified it, right? Sample small MBR bootloader code in assembly that I can compile right to boot sector that will just display hello world message in the console. It just gave me this crap. It's useless. We'll come to that, why it's useless. So I got this, and there is even explanation on that, and it tells me even how to compile and how to write it to the bootloader.iso and all that stuff. I just tried it. It only prints Etch on the console and then just freezes and reboots in VirtualBox and real machine. It just hangs, crashes, nothing happens. happens? And just gave me another crap, just with instead of jump to $, it just jumped to loop, jumps back to over here, and just doesn't do anything, no difference. And I say it again, it's something is off, it just prints edge and reboots. Can you fix the code? Again, the same code, and I say same results, it's same. It just never gets to anything. And this is the Gemini Advanced Pro, whatever. Useless. ChatGPT, I took my time. As you can see, it's a very long conversation and step and back and forth with it. I followed everything to the T. I provided feedback every single step of the way. It's told it's not working, this is crashing, that's not working, tell me what's missing, how to fix this, how to fix that. Every step. I could not get anything to work. It just shows the edge and it crashes. I went back and forth with ChatGPT, with Gemini, nothing happened. And then I went to the DeepSeek and I said, okay, I'm getting this bullshit code from the other crap that I have, which is ChatGPT, which I'm paying for, which I don't know why. And then I Gemini Pro, which again I'm paying them, I don't know why. And then I said, okay, I have this and here's my code. It's supposed to print hello world, and I want to make an ISO image out of it and put it on a modern hardware. So here's my code. This is useless code. And then here's the steps to generate the ISO. I said maybe it is going to fix it with the steps or something like that. And here is the NASM compile code. Then I create a bootable image and pad it 512 and then copy my compiled binary. And I say just prints edge and never the rest of it. Just one prompt. I said this is the situation, this is the code, this is the generator, and it is just showing edge and rebooting and crashing. Look at the beauty of DeepSeek, okay? The issue you're encountering is likely due to the fact that modern hardware expects a valid master boot record, and then it says your current code writes hello world program to the first sector of the disk, which is typically where the MBR code resides. So it is saying that your code structure is not correct. You're overriding the boot sector where it should not have data in there. So it here gives me the padding and then gives me the bootable code and the padding and the signature and the partition logic and all that stuff that should be in the compiled code with the hard-coded offset and stuff. And then after all of this, it gives me explanation on the partition table, MBR signature, AA55, okay? It does all that and then again gives me back my original code which I gave it to. Anyway, I just compiled it as is, didn't change a single line, and look what happens. Okay, now look at my machine. This is a test VM that I have on my Proxmox, right? Doesn't matter. Now look, this is the command. Q emulator, CD-ROM, MBR hello.iso, and boot, and look at this. Do you see that? That's what DeepSeek did. I didn't change a single thing. I followed the steps to the T, I've compiled the code as is, and that's what I got. It's nice to have access to different specialized LLM models and use it for the purpose that they are good at it. And you see how much I struggled with ChatGPT for a long time. I kept testing and providing feedback back and forth, trying to get it fixed. Never happened. One prompt and I got the answer with DeepSeek. And hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any good model suggestions, any recommendations for things or other software to use. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know down below. Once again, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.